there, it's Tracy Tully and you're listening to Tracy Tully Talks at bbsradio.com, the place to be right now, streaming live with another 60 minutes of thought-provoking topics, sharing with you conversations that are relevant today, tomorrow and in the future. Join me each week on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Australian time, AEST, 5 p.m. Wednesday PT. Hello, Los Angeles. If you missed the live show, jump onto your favourite podcasting platform and you'll find me on Tracy Tully Talks. We do have some adult language, so if you have some little ones around, pop on your earphones.
And welcome here today. My name's Caroline Bellinger and I'll be standing in for Tracy, who unfortunately couldn't make it today. I'm a athlete, author, founder of Be the Impossible courses and speaker. And I'm passionate about mental health and child sex abuse, healing from that trauma. And I'm just absolutely passionate about everyone having wonderful lives. And that's why I'm excited to introduce today the amazing powerhouse, Sally Galvin. And I'm going to be interviewing Sally. Sally is the owner of Jarradale Equestrian Centre in Western Australia. She's the creator of the mindfulness programs for children. She's co-author of a book that we did together, Empowering Women, Empowering the World. She's a supporter of Project Blue Tree, which is a project where she's painted this massive blue gum tree on her property, and it's to support mental health awareness. But Sally's journey hasn't always been easy. She sadly lost her father when she was young, which is, something that people have to face, but she's gone on to be Australia's youngest polo cross representative and the best Western Australian polo cross player in 2017. Also, she competed at the Australian National Polo Cross Championships in 2018 with her amazing three sisters, a first in Australia. She also runs her equestrian centre now, while being the mum to 4 incredibly energetic young boys, and is passionate, speaks publicly and in the community about mental health as well, and obviously her programs for children. So I'm going to introduce Sally now. Welcome, Sally.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. Thank you very much for having me on the show this morning. I'm delighted to be here.
Excellent. So what I'd like for you to share with us is, who is Sally Galvin? Who's the Sally Galvin behind the business?
Who is Sally Galvin? Well, that was a pretty amazing intro. I was blushing here in the background listening to it, Caroline. Sally Galvin is, I am what I like to call is a self-aware parent. That's my my favourite go-to in. I take my parenting so very, very seriously because, well, my story, which you've just, everything really stems from my story, why I'm so passionate about mind fitness and helping create grounded, resilient, well-adjusted children, my own children, but, children bigger than that even, like other people's children, through parenting courses and through my the Mind Fit Kids Academy, which is my online program for children. Yeah. The reason, so you bopped it in a nutshell there, but when I was a little girl, we grew up here in Perth, WA. So like I live in just south of Perth in Jarradale, where I have the equestrian centre and I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur, a mumpreneur. So I have a few businesses, but the main one is Jarradale Equestrian. And but when I was a little girl, we grew up in the Wheatbelt, which was just about 2 hours east of here. And I grew up in the perfect, idyllic country lifestyle. So I was a little girl of 8 with my dad and my mum and my 3 little sisters, and we grew up on a sheep and wheat farm in just in the wheat belt. And there wasn't a lot of money. Interest rates were really high. So I remember eating a lot of kangaroo and rabbit and mutton, there wasn't, yeah.
So some of our non-Australian viewers today, listeners might find that a bit odd that you would actually eat a kangaroo, but yes,
kangaroo.
We do.
Yes, we actually do when you live in the bush. That's one of the things, especially when all the money, the stuff that was making money, which are the lambs, they don't get eaten by, So anyway, I've actually never said that one before in an interview, but anyway, you never know what's going to come out here. So I grew up there with my mum and dad and my 3 little sisters, and we really had a pretty amazing lifestyle. I used to follow dad around in the tractor, on the harvester, in the ute. I used to fall asleep I would rather be where dad was. I was like dad's little girl than be inside with, with the mum and the kids. I was really dad's little shadow. I would go wherever he would. And for a little 8-year-old girl, life was awesome until it wasn't. When dad took his life, the pressure of high interest rates and farming and, suicide, he took his life and he committed suicide. Suicide is always unexpected. And for a little 8-year-old country girl, it was world shattering.
Yeah. And you wouldn't, there's not a lot you understand when you're little.
No.
Was it spoken about much back then?
No.
Either?
See, that's the thing. Definitely not. In fact, I really only found out that he'd taken his life when I was a teenager. So it was to protect me. And everybody, see, as a parent, this is what I teach in my parenting courses. Everybody teaches, or everybody does the very best job they can with what they know at the time. And so mum did her very best. Yeah, that is, you can't blame your parents for doing what you think now is the wrong thing. You can't blame them. They weren't trying to make, stuff up as a parent. And our kids are going to do the same for us. Just understand, when you've had your own children, you really look back at parenting quite from a different perspective, don't you? You look back at your mum and dad in a very different perspective. But mum did the very best she could with what she knew, and she thought it was better to shield us from it. And so we were told lies. And when we found out, that was just another kick in the teeth, to be honest. But mental health awareness with that Blue Tree Project and, the Black Dog Institute, and, you could rattle off a whole heap of organisations, non-for-profit organisations that help with mental health and suicide prevention. It's definitely all about the awareness, and that is a big step towards healing or fixing this problem that we have, this problem that we have with the rising rates in suicide, particularly around the pandemic that we're in right now as well.
The statistics coming out of, and we'll follow on from the recent pandemic and lockdowns and everything like that, is frightening.
It is frightening.
Yeah, you're correct. We are at least, talking about it a lot more now.
Absolutely, we are. The awareness is there where it wasn't when I was 8. So, mum, the amazing, phenomenal, resilient, passionate, strong-minded woman that she is, picked us girls up and put one foot in front of the other and did a phenomenal job of parenting. And the most powerful way to parent, I truly believe, and I teach it in my programs, is to lead by example. So mum led by example on how to pick yourself back up, grieve and mourn, then pick yourself back up and get it done. Yep. So I'm truly blessed. My sisters and I are truly, truly blessed to be the 4 daughters of our mother, because she did a pretty phenomenal job. All 4 of her girls have gone on to represent Australia in our chosen sport of polo cross.
How did that feel, all being on a team together, in a national team?
It was a bit surreal, to be honest. It was next level, Caroline. We're all quite headstrong, as you could probably imagine, and And we're all very good at what we do, because one of the things Mum's always taught us is always do your best, okay? And so whatever it is, whether it's making the bed, whether it's, you know, tidying the house, whether it's cooking the dinner, whether it's playing for Australia, whether it's starting a business, just always do your very best. And so I can't say it ran really smoothly the whole time. I reckon there was a, you know, like there's different opinions of what's, you know, but I think we are all, you know, adult enough to rise above our differences and work it out. But yeah, we played quite well. We played very well. We didn't end up where we wanted to end up. We didn't win the cup, which we'd always planned to do. But it was next level phenomenal playing with your three sisters for your state. It was a national event, not a international event. So yeah, it was pretty amazing. And lots of us have played together, you know, 2 and 2 in different national and international events. 2 of my sisters have played for Australia together against a New Zealand test. But yeah, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. So Mum did this phenomenal job of picking us up and leading by example. And then suicide actually raised its head again, Caroline. I don't speak about this very often. The main thing is around when my father took his life. But when I was 21, my boyfriend at the time, he was 22 actually. I was 21. He took his life. So suicide raised its ugly head again in my life, and he committed suicide, and that blew me apart again. So he, at the time, as this 21-year-old girl, he'd been my boyfriend for 2 years, and I was thinking that was the man I was going to spend the rest of my life with. That's what you do when you're 21 and you're in a long-term relationship. And when he took his life, it just brought back so much hurt and so much dealt with issues around Dad's suicide. So Mum was gutted. It just brought it all back again. And somebody said to me, so I took off traveling, actually. That's my story, yeah? So I took off. I'm like, I left again. I went traveling again, and I was not looking for any sort of relationship. And you know, when you're not looking, then sometimes you find. Yeah. And I stumbled across the most wonderful man in Ireland, and he is now my husband. And the father of our 4 children. Fantastic. So I'm truly blessed.
What do you think, like, having, you know, had to go through that as a young child, not being told, find out when you were a teenager, which then, you know, the trauma comes back again and probably worse, then to experience that like almost like a third time really in that process. What do you think was your biggest learning takeaway for yourself throughout that?
Good one. So the biggest learning from that I have learned, and if I was to go back and talk to my 8-year-old self, this is what I would tell her. I would tell her not to hold on to any guilt for it, not to take any responsibility for other people's actions, because I am fully responsible for my thoughts, my actions, and what I do in myself. But I am not one little bit responsible for what other people do, think, and their actions. Yeah. So, because as a little 8-year-old girl, running through my mind was definitely, oh my gosh, was I not a good enough girl? Could I not have made Dad happier? Why would Dad have left us? Maybe it was me, and I took the blame. And then again, when I was 21, I was really blessed to actually be introduced to a healer, and they grabbed that and we worked through that really quickly. And that is where it really revealed that, you know, we are only responsible for our own actions, thoughts, actions, our own self. We are not responsible for other people, and everybody's on their own path. So I don't know if anybody really ever will understand suicide. I myself have never been in that dark place, but you know, I don't preach to understand it, but I do. Yeah.
That's how, I mean, I probably come from that side where I've attempted suicide.
Yeah.
So I do get that side of it. And, you know, and that's the irony of life, or the conundrum. You've got the people who, you know, are thinking about suicide, who think that everyone else will be better off without them. Everyone else is wondering why they went, because they're not better off without them, you know, and it's this, and like you said, it's, you know, and mental health, when people are in a state of mental health, you know, your thoughts aren't necessarily logical. And I guess, you know, for me, and I know for you with your programs, it's getting in early enough to teach people how to manage those thought processes so that mental health can be managed. Mental health doesn't necessarily always go away, but, you know, sometimes we manage it. And that, you know, that can be the difference between someone getting help or taking, you know, other more drastic sort of like options in their life, you know, but like you said, so with that, like,
right on there, Caroline, that's exactly right. That's exactly
right. So tell me a little bit about your programs and why you're doing it for children.
Cool. So somebody said to me, and you know how, I don't even know who it was, but it, you know, when some things just stick, and I say it all the time now, is it is easier to grow a strong, fit, healthy child in body and soul and mind than it is to fix a broken man. And my programs, that's why I have been inspired to make a difference in the, you know, with children and parenting of children and children programs as well, because they come as one. Just to do the children would be, you know, wouldn't be as beneficial as if you were to educate the parents as well. Do both of it. Yeah. So I created, well, I had Jared Our Mind Fitness, which was an in-house program that I was running here in my studio on the farm. And then another one of COVID's blessings is that our doors were shut for when COVID hit at the beginning of 2019. 2020. Oh, yeah, God, we're in 21 now. That's right. Jesus. So, God, goodness me.
It feels like 2019. Yeah.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the doors shut, and I thought, you know, I need to get this message. These are these programs, the essence of these programs is creating grounded, resilient, well-adjusted children. So understanding is more than mindfulness, and it's more than meditation, and it's all of those things, and it's more than just a positive mental attitude, and it's more than just, you know, practicing gratitude or, you know, what people call the universal law of attraction. It is all those things plus a lot more, backed by neuroscience in the study that I've done. And I have written stories for children, 37 of them actually, and I did it all when we were locked up you know, I am so blessed because during COVID lockdown, I was locked on our slice of paradise here. And I wrote these stories, then I recorded them. And each story, because the power of story, children learn through stories. The power of story is so powerful that it helps our children. So like there's a list of 5 books. They're all going to be published into books as well, but right now they're in programs. And we talk about mind mastery is the first one. And it is understanding the way our mind works and how we can use that to reach our full potential. So like, I'm going to just jump into some real nitty gritty stuff because it's pretty amazing. So the first one is about how your mind shapes your world. So how your belief systems is formed. So a lot of children, like I think about if I had known these things, a couple of these tools when I was a kid, I would have been able to navigate those misty years of adolescence, my dad's suicide, my partner's suicide, so much better. So shit happens, you know, like life is not fair. Life is not fair. Shit happens. And if we can be armed with the tools to control the way we respond Like if we can be armed with those tools and have them deep rooted in our makeup as a young child, we would have what I call mind fit children, which will grow up to be mind fit adults, which will parent their children to be mind fit children. And the ripple effect, Caroline, blows my mind and rocks my world. And that is what lights me up every single day. It absolutely lights me up every single day.
I know. And I look at that and I think, we put so much emphasis in children in their education. And so, which we should, but then we get stuck in the English, the maths, and we just don't teach kids how to live or how to cope with life, at a schooling level. I think it's getting better. I know I've got a friend who's a primary school teacher, preps, and she actually does meditation with her little kids every morning. So it's fabulous to see that stuff being implemented. And, would you say I know raising my child, I was very aware that they're like little sponges. So if you give them the right stuff, they will learn. But a lot of parents I speak to, and I'm not sure if you find this, feel that children aren't ready to hear stuff. So therefore they, try and, in their way, they're trying to protect them, but they're actually in many ways making them more vulnerable to risk by not having that knowledge and that information.
Absolutely.
Do you find that when you're talking to parents?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of the stuff within my program, for example, is stuff that a lot of parents don't even know to teach. Yes. So an example would be, neural pathway. Everybody's talking about the anxious child at the moment, anxiety. Yeah. And my child suffers from anxiety. I think it's a prescribed problem now, as it happens in the medical world, it's a diagnosable issue now. So if you've got a child that suffers from anxiety, now I'm not dismissing that, not one single bit. Every single one of us has anxious thoughts. It's our flight and fight mechanism. It's what keeps us alive. Yes. And one of the powerful tools, and I'm going to give it to you guys now for free, obviously, give it to you guys, is one of the powerful tools to overcome anxiety. There is a tool that you can use, and it uses neural pathways. So a lot of parents, and these sort of things, most parents I speak to don't even know about. They think anxiety is something in a box over there, but anxiety is a normal thing that we all use every single day. And if you were to use some tools, like a visualization tool, and it's not woo-woo visualization, it is hardcore stuff that we use every single day. Elite sports people use it all the time. These are things that I've learned when I spent quite a lot of time at the Australian Institute of Sport on my travel to be the best in the world in my chosen sport. And being an elite sportswoman, neural pathways, creating neural pathways through visualization helps reduce nervousness or anxiety, because it tricks your mind. Your mind doesn't know whether you've actually done something or whether you've thought about doing something over and over and over and over again. And so that's just one of the stories in the 37. And it's all at a 6 to 12-year-old's level. It's all down in a story about children about 6 to 12 years old learning how to use neural pathways to overcome anxiety. So that's just one of them. Now, I have spoken about this a bit, and I always speak. I've got a huge circle of mothers and fathers, parents and even the most self-aware parent, which a self-aware parent is somebody that's really aware of the way they're parenting and always looking at themselves. Am I doing the best I can? Am I doing the best by my child? I speak to a lot of self-aware parents, and honestly, 80% of them don't even know about visualization. They don't even know about neural pathways. These are things that have been proven by neuroscience. They're not just made up.
No, I talk about how I suffer from anxiety. You know, same, like before I do an event or something like that, my physical anxiety will come up naturally. Yeah. But now I've learned to then visualize outcomes of previous good events, and then it reduces it as well.
So your mind tells your body,
Yes.
Actually, Caroline, it's okay. You've done this before. You've got this. You didn't die.
Yes.
You got this. And then your physical body just comes back to normal. Yeah, that's so amazing.
Yeah. So with like one thing I found as a parent, when I first, there's no manual. Well, there's no set manual, and every situation's different. However, what I did find was at the time there were so many books on how to be the best parent. It was like almost overwhelming. I think I did latch onto one which was like Buddhism for mothers. I think I like that one because there was a lot of letting go in that one. But how in that field, what makes your program so unique?
Good one. Makes my program so unique. So a book I'm just about to release now is called Parenting a Mind Fit Kid. And it is 7 simple tools so I started with, they're generic because every child is different. Every parent is different. Every parenting style is different. And every situation is different. So you can't just box it. You can definitely not box it. And I know for me, I've got 4 boys.
Yes.
I might use one on one child and it won't work on the other because their personalities are just like so different. And it also depends on where I'm at in my own self too, because the way I parented 5 years ago is quite different to the way I parent now. So I think that there is no manual because there can never be one. I think that it's a continuum and we evolve and we grow as long as we're on the path to do the best that we can and not on the negative spiral of it. So one of the things in the course teaches children how to flip their power. So you're always moving. You're either moving on the positive trajectory or you're moving on the negative trajectory. You're never the same, okay? And if you can be self-aware as a mind fit kid or self-aware as a self-aware parent to understand when you are just being revolting, your mindset stinks and you hate the dog and you hate the mother and you hate the husband and you hate the life, when you can just grab that and stop and then flip it in whatever it is that you need to. And I know you do this daily. I know I do this daily.
Yeah.
Because we're all human, yeah? We're all human. And we're not perfect. Not one single bit. Oh my gosh, not one single bit. But if you can be self-aware enough to grab that and flip it and pop yourself back on that positive trajectory, then you're a long way to becoming the best you that you can be every day. And the best you every day becomes a phenomenal you every year and becomes bigger that you just don't even know how far you can come when you've got the power and the self-awareness to flip it when you know you're on the negative spiral.
Yeah,
when
and
you
I
know
think
you're on your way to be.
Yeah, and I think that's, like you're saying, like to be able to teach children at a young age to be self-aware is so important. And it makes your life as a parent easier because if they can commute, because, we all know kids can be moody, especially when they get to teenage years.
15-year-old. Oh my Lord.
But, the more aware they are, the more they can communicate to you what's going on in their world or communicate to you to leave them alone, and that's something as a parent I've had to learn is that sometimes they just need to work it out themselves. And I don't need to give them the solution because I've given them all the guidance to get the solution themselves. And
we always learn better when we figure it out ourselves, don't we? So that's one of the things in the book. Don't overparent is one of the things. In today's society, a lot of people overparent. And I have been, pardon?
The helicopter parent.
Oh. And I'm guilty of it. I am as guilty as the next person of overparenting. But if it's safe and secure, let them fall over and dust their knees. Let them make mistakes. because and as long as they understand that mistakes are okay, they help us learn. Mistakes, if you make a mistake, you're not a bad person. You're just a person that made a mistake. And as soon as you open that up and make that a bit freer, it's much easier. And if you want to succeed in life, you need to make some mistakes, because the faster you run, the more bugs you hit. And oh my God, I've made some mistakes in my life, like in business, in life, in health, in social issues, in loads of stuff. I am the biggest mistake maker ever. And I think when you look at those people in your life, like in business, for me, example, if you look at somebody like the Richard Bransons of the world or the Oprah Winfreys of the world, the reason that they're there is because they've made more mistakes than we have. Yeah. So mistakes are okay. I think that's one of the pillars of the Mind Fit Kids Academy. It's
and with that, just on your own journey as an entrepreneur, and you've done lots of things, what would you say was the biggest challenge in your journey as an entrepreneur?
Oh, there's been so many, Caroline. And there's going to be so many more, because it's a journey, like you said. I've not arrived, even though I'm in a much better place now than I was just a few short years ago. Financially, business-wise, stability. My biggest was the guilt, the parenting guilt. That was my number one. That was my number one personal development area that I needed to work on, because in my mind, somewhere along the line, I thought that if you worked too hard in your business, you were not a good mum. You couldn't be a good mum and bring up grounded, resilient, well-adjusted children and be a passionate businesswoman, making a difference, a positive difference in the world, getting the Mind Fit Kids Academy to the world. Yeah. So I was helping all these other children, and mine was suffering. This was this whole that was it. The whole guilt thing going on, because nutrition's important to me, health and fitness is important to me. My children are avid football players. They are very good at their sports, surprise surprise, and they are always
I wonder where they got that from.
They are very, very good at their sports, and they're armed. They're all very, they aren't all the time, but they are all quite very resilient in the mind on the sports field.
So with that, because I know that's a huge one, mother guilt. So what tips or guidance would you give to other mothers who might be listening today on how to overcome that guilt, or how to deal with when you're feeling like that?
So it was taught to me by my business mentor that and it's a good one, it works perfectly. It's not about the quantity of time you spend with your children. It is about the quality. So be present when you are with them. Don't be on your phone. Don't be thinking about your next meeting. Don't be thinking about, we're going to get that bank manager on board. When you are with your children, you are with your children. Get down to their level and be present with them for whatever you think is the right amount of time, every day, fortnight, week, 2 days, whatever it is right for you, because everybody's different. But get rid of that guilt by having quality time, because children equate time being present to love. So I know plenty, and I see it every day at the football on the side of the footy. So on the weekends now, I'm blessed enough to most of the time be with my children, because I've set businesses up to run without me all the time now. So that hasn't been always the way, okay? I've missed plenty of football games. But now at football, I see so many mums not really doing children. Or how often do you see, everybody sitting down and mum's on the phone? Well,
yeah. Do you know what? You only have to go to a playground.
Yep.
And every parent's sitting around just about like this.
Totally. Yep. Totally. Absolutely. And, that's okay in that but just be really aware that when you are with your children, you are with your children. You're in that space, in that room, being present. So we have device-free times and device-free areas within our house. And I know starting businesses requires, and everything runs through your phone now. Everything runs through your phone. So I'm answering emails, and I had to stop it because I would be cooking dinner and half doing emails, or the kids would be talking about their schoolwork and I'm like checking dashboards on my phone. And so I had to get really strict and structured with that. My time with my children, I just need to schedule it in and I need to be present. And then when you do that, you don't feel as guilty taking time away from your kids to do business. But you need to explain it to them as well. So it's easier to explain it to my 15 and 13-year-old and my 7 and 9-year-old. It was harder to explain it to them too, because, well, they just wanted mum all the time. And I said, darling, mum has actually got some work that she really needs to do. And the reason I do it, darling, is because we can go away on holidays, and so we can go and play our polocrosse in our big truck, and so we can have these horses here, and so we can go and do motorbike weekends away. And when it's explained to them on the kids' term, they get it. The kids get it.
Yeah, and I think that, again, that goes back to what we were saying, like kids understand more than we give them credit for often.
Totally.
Yeah. So obviously you're busy a lot and you do a lot of things and everything like that. What does Sally Galvin do for downtime?
So I have been spending quite a lot of downtime just lately. We've had a death in the family, and within cousins, and I've really learned the importance of self-care. Yep. And I used to get the guilt thing as well. You've got to, as a mother does, often you put your children and your husband and, in fact, the whole world before your business, and your clients,
everything,
all before you. And I've got some business mentors and some coaches in my life, and I watch people, that I aspire to be like. And every single one of them says, make sure you do self-care, whatever it is for you. And, I'm a sportswoman, and if my coach tells me to do ABC, I go and do ABC. So I radio, okay, self-care. What do I do? And thank gosh they did, because I have not been one of those entrepreneurs that's hit a wall and got sick. I just haven't, because I've made sure I have good nutrition. I do love going to the gym. I do 2 weights days a week with all my girlfriends, my sisters and my girlfriends. And sometimes we chat more than we do weights, but
Oh, that's my gym. That's my whole philosophy around being at the gym. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. And we have a coffee afterwards. I love Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
And I do a yoga class every week, which I love. I've fallen in love with yoga because a strong, fit, flexible mind, and I love strong, fit, flexible bodies. I just love the look of men and women. So that's the body I would like. I aspire to have. So yoga is one of my things. I meditate every day. I also do a remedial massage about once a fortnight.
Yes,
which I sometimes once a month, which I really love. I really love it.
I've just got back into the habit myself of like making that a regular thing as well.
Yeah. And
even though I cry sometimes when she's going,
I leave it going, oh my God, I got to do this more.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it is a big one. That was a big learning thing for me around self-care, because I'm putting everyone else first, thinking that was the right, that was the best thing. But understanding that concept that the more I look after myself, the better I am as a mother, the better I am as an entrepreneur, the better I am as a partner, the better I am as a daughter. So, and I often will giggle and say to people, like, it is in your interest if I go and have a massage.
Absolutely.
We're
it is.
all
Absolutely.
going to benefit from it. Yep.
I think this is my husband delivering me a coffee. Look at this.
Look at that. Wow. I'm sure everyone out there would like to know, how do you make that happen, Sal?
I don't know. I'm just blessed. I'm truly, truly blessed, Caroline. Oh my God, that's so lovely. Our coffee machine's broken. Our coffee machine here in the house is broken, here in the office is broken, and I haven't replaced it because I drink too much coffee.
Yeah, that's why I don't have one anymore at home. Oh, I bought a new one, what am I saying? But
so we spend $10 a day on a coffee each on the way home from our children dropping kids to school, because one coffee at $5 is much better for my health than 7 coffees at $1. So anyhow, that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about. But.
No, coffee. Oh, I think coffee makes the world go round. So what would you say, like, what's your greatest accomplishment in business? And then we'll go personal. So first, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment in business?
So I am a serial entrepreneur. I have Jared Equestrian, which is my original business. And that's gone from a broken, small sort of, with some coaching, to something really big and profitable. The MindFit Kids Academy, the Jared Mind Fitness, only started 2 years ago, and it's now stacked up on, I'm just going through the best things in each of them, and then I'll and it has gone to a international, like a global program that people are buying in the UK and in America and in Australia, obviously. I run, we have a bespoke Corobinjal Labradors, which is I'm a Labrador breeder as well. We do dogs, which is pretty amazing. I have my personal brand, which is Sally Galvin, and I'm a paid speaker now and author. And I have Jared Body, which is a yoga and meditation studio. And I often feel like I'm spinning plates. Like in the lead up, I am like, oh, this plate spinning. My biggest accomplishment in business is understanding how people work, getting good at people.
Yep.
And putting the right people in the right seats of the bus. This is what I've learned, to run and make each one of those individual businesses independently thrive. So I am not doing everything.
Yes.
I think that's my biggest accomplishment.
Yep. Awesome.
Is that
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really important because, and a part of that is like stepping away from the ego, that you don't have to be involved in everything. Because I think a lot of people in business and a lot of women, still hold on to that the business won't run without them properly and that other people can't do the job. And you know what? There are going to be times when people will never do it like you would like it done. But sometimes you've got to let go of that to go, but it will get done. It will be done well. But I get to do all this other stuff if I let go of that perfectionism or that control. And that's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. It is. There's so I also, for self-care and self-help, I listen to audiobooks all the time. Other people's stories, I listen to the Richard Bransons and the Oprah Winfreys and the Steve Jobs and the Elon Musks of the world. I'm constantly listening to stories. And that's something that was also as well, let go. Just let go and don't feel like I was being the bottleneck of a lot of my businesses. And you know what? I have got some staff members that are doing a much better job than I could do.
Yes. Oh, that's the other one. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. They are doing a much better job than I could do because, well, if I am, and my businessman, like Aaron's told me before, if you are up in the top of the boat, up in the crow's nest of the boat, on the ships and the pirate ships, right? If you're up there and you are making sure you are navigating the whole lot below you so that you don't hit the rocks, so that you navigate the best way you can. That is where you should be.
Yes.
If you were down on the deck working in the inking of the business, and like when a business first starts up, you definitely need to be in that because, well, you don't have any money in the bucket to pay people to do it, and you need to understand the way it works anyway.
Yeah, it's a good way to understand your business.
Yeah, but once you've built it out of startup, you then need to get back up in the crow's nest so that you can make sure that you're not all heading for an iceberg and you sink like the Titanic.
Yep, cool. I think that's important. Yeah, absolutely. And what about Sally Galvin on the personal level? What you like?
Yeah, go on. Go. Keep going.
Proudest accomplishment as a person. And I mean, you're amazing. So I could list 100. So I know you're going to have trouble choosing.
You know, Caroline, you know my biggest accomplishment on a personal level is my relationship with myself.
Yep.
That is my biggest accomplishment because there's been lots of years but I've really not liked myself very much. And if you don't like yourself very much, your other relationships don't work on a personal level.
No.
They just don't. Because, yeah, my relationship with myself has been, because and the reason I've stepped outside of my comfort zone and got cracking and working on myself to be the best me that I can be all the time, not all the time, I'm only human, is because I'm wanting to lead by example for my children. So my dad took his life, my partner took his life, so many people all around in the Western world, in Australia now, like in the rest of the world, but in Australia, stuff doesn't really happen like that. But suicide is happening here in Australia. And I have 4 boys. They're the highest risk for suicide. And I don't want any of my children, or like, who would? And so that is why I'm so proactive. And the most powerful way of parenting is lead by example. So if I can learn how to love myself, then my children will follow suit. They will learn how to love themselves. And if you love yourself enough, if you arm with those tools, like I said within my programs, backed by neuroscience, if you arm with those tools, then you've got the best shot of getting through, navigate your way through life.
Yeah. And that's it, and I get that a lot, and people will say, when that whole love yourself, that, and I say to people, it actually takes work to be happy.
Does.
A lot of people think just because people are happy that, they're lucky. But, there are, like you've mentioned along, there's all the strategies and the skills, whether it's mindset, physical, meditation, all that stuff, audiobooks, surrounding yourself with the right people, having coaches, all of that comes to support you to be happy. You don't just wake up one day and go, oh, that's it.
Yeah. There's no magic wand.
We've all carried a lot of baggage with us over the years where we haven't had those skills. So, it's such a journey. So, to know that you can teach children at a younger age so that they'll still have their own lessons in life, but not maybe be more equipped to deal with them than maybe we were in our generation.
Yeah, because it's not right now to say that you're naive, because I think in the past we were. Where we've come in understanding the way the mind works in the last 18 months, 2 years, is so much more than what we've known in the last 18 years. So neuroscience has come a long way, and it is backed by science. It's not just the spiritual aspect. It is actually backed by science. People understand how neurons work. People understand the power of what you achieve, what you believe, like understanding your stepping outside your comfort zones, building self-confidence. It is all backed by neuroscience, which is, so to think that you didn't know, I'd like to bring this to the world so that everybody knows, every child knows, and nobody can ever plead ignorant. It needs to be taught up there with maths and English. It really does.
Yeah, I totally couldn't agree more. I think life skills and learning life and learning to love ourselves and all that is like the most valuable skill you're going to need in life. So on that note, what's next for Sally Galvin?
Oh, what's next?
Ooh.
Oh my God, there's so much. There's always loads going on in our life. I have a book, like I said, coming out, Parenting a Mind Fit Kid. And I delve into what a Mind Fit Kid is. And I also understand that there's 7 tools that I use on a daily basis. And so many successful parents, if that's a word, I don't even know if that's a word, or a correct, but so many people with children that have grown up to be grounded and resilient and well-adjusted, reaching their full potential, use. So that is going to be coming out in the next couple of months. And then I have also got a set of books that I am publishing as well, called Becoming a Mind Fit Kid. And they are stories. It's an illustrated book. It's like a chapter book for 6 to 12-year-olds, for kids to read themselves or for parents to read to children. And they're my stories just in reading stories. So my programs are phenomenal. And then I've got these books that will go with it. And like further on down the track, there's going to be workbooks, and it's going to be a program that I'm going to put into schools.
Awesome.
That's the Mind Fit Kids. That's my goals and my dreams for that. On a personal level, what's going on with me? I'm not having any more children. I'm done there with that. I have 4 children. I'm not dropping that one on you. What have we got personally? Well, my biggest goal in life personally is to have amazing human experiences with those people that I love. Whether it be, travel out of the country isn't on the spectrum for a little while, because travel's something I love to do. But
we've actually only got a couple of minutes left.
Oh, have we? Oh God, geez, where'd that hour go?
Yeah. Where can everyone find you?
Oh, well, my website, Sally Galvin, Sally. That's how my name's got an I on it, not a Y. Galvin.com.au. That is my website. I have social media, Instagram and Facebook, Sally Galvin. Jared Our Mind Fitness is .com.au is the Mind Fit Kids Academy. You can find it in there. If you go to Sally Galvin, it'll link you through to everything.
Yeah.
And the equestrian is Jared Our Mind.
And they can get all your programs and all your products and your books and everything on those sites.
Absolutely.
So
if
you want to know more.
Oh, if you want to know more, it's all on the website, as everybody. Yeah, it's all on the website. So you will get through to my books and my courses, and follow us on Facebook, because there's always fun stuff going on there, Facebook and Instagram. It really keeps you in. Like, we give some cool stuff out, some good. I aim to give, like, do more, be more, have more, and give more. That is one of my mantras in life. And because, like the Dash, the Dash story, born 1979, died, I'm not too sure,
yes.
probably about 100. And what I'm going to do in that Dash, I think that, do more, be more, have more, and give more. That's my biggest, most exciting, I want to be spent when I fall into my grave.
Yeah. And that's it, isn't it? And I know you will. Like, I've known you long enough now to know that whatever you set your mind to, you will do. It's always fabulous chatting to you, Sel. Like, it's just been such a journey, and I loved, we've known each other a couple of years now. We've always managed to talk a lot.
Yeah, we have. We talk underwater, you and I. It's crazy, isn't it?
But, you're an amazing role model, and to see you thriving and promoting, because obviously I'm passionate about mental health and awareness and all that. And to see you out there just growing and giving all this stuff that people can learn and children can learn, to just, that creating a better world, that your dash is already so full. And I know just going to get fuller and fuller and fuller.
Yeah, thanks, Caroline.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is, we don't really know where we go after here. Not really. So we might as well do our very best with what we've got, hey?
That's the one. So thank you, Sally. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. And if anyone would like to just catch up with Sally, visit her website, her social media, and find out more on how you can build mindful, resilient children, because they're going to make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks for listening to another 60 minutes of inspiring talking points on Tracy Tully Talks, brought to you by bbsradio.com. Tune in every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Australian time, AEST, and 5 p.m. PT time in America. Leave me a message on my website at www.bbsradio.com/Tracy Tully Talks. If you're interested in lifting the profile, presence and profit of your business, sponsorship opportunities are available. Until next Thursday, it's goodbye from me.